by the science guy. Bill by the science guy.
Science rules.
Bill by the science guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Bill.
T minus 7 seconds.
Bill by the science guy. Bill by the science guy.
Inertia.
Bill by the science guy. Bill by the science guy.
Welcome back to another episode of the BrewSpytheMagicGuy. I'm your host, Sean, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys an updated version of the Esper Death Shadow list that we've been working on. And just some notables. There are definitely some things in here that I haven't tested in a huge sampling of matches, but I think in practice you'll see kind of how I came to some of these card conclusions, and yeah, I'm excited about it. We're going to go ahead and do a league with this. Picked up some tickets. Hope you guys are enjoying the weekend. I hope that you guys either got to do the pre-release or maybe you were just watching the London tournament, Mythic Championship. This is not the queue I want either. And we do have a special surprise for you guys tonight if we get through the Modern League, which I'm hoping is the case. Hoping to get through it. We've, just for clarification, I've tested many different cards for this deck in general, but also specifically trying to see if there's a way to kind of get around one of the biggest drawbacks of not playing a red-colored shadow, which by and large is Tamir Battle Rage. That's the big one. But there's a lot of cool things we get out of white besides Path. You get Orzhov Charm, which has a lot of cool synergy in a shadow deck because on the front side, it'll let you lose some life, much like Dismember does. But on the back end, you get instant speed reanimation for the Death Shadow because it's CMC1, which is really cool. Also, other things, Kaya's interesting in a shadow deck because she does, if I'm exiling a creature, she would gain us life. But I mean, we're also a deck that's going to sideboard Brutality just because the burn match is very difficult without something like a tool like this. She's also a tutor target for the secrets. This is a secrets based, which I've leaned towards building most of my Esper builds Mausoleum Secrets based. Because like we're not going to be the better aggressive deck. That's just not possible. You know, between Tamir Battle Rage and even things like Lightning Bolt, we're just not going to be more aggressive. Call against commands, so they have reach in other ways. We're just not going to be as aggressive. So it's better to play into like Lingering Souls and Planeswalkers, bullets to tutor for than it is to try to pretend that we can be more aggressive. I still like the deck playing kind of a tempo role, even still. So this opener has a bullet, but other than that, it looks like a really solid hand. 2 Street Wraiths, a Shadow, an Angler, a removal spell. We'll keep this. Certainly can't ask for a much better opener than this. So we'll do a little bit of Street Wraithin'. Holy Street Wraith, Batman. Please don't be burned. So we can drop a Shadow here, which is pretty insane when you think about it. It's pretty insane when you do think about it. Just played this? Did you? Opponent thinks he just played this. We shall see. I mean, I've played Mardu Shadow, Grixis Shadow, Esper Shadow. I'm excited about some of the other Shadow decks that people are trying at the moment. There's like the Zoo variation. What else is there? There's like there's the blueless shadow. It's got, you know, mutagenic growths and prowess creatures. So that's interesting as well. We'll drop this angler. No need to get fancy. And we should be able to kill the next turn. I'm assuming it's like a Grixis control or like a blue-black control. Could even be Esper. Assuming opponent's trying to answer all of the things that we're doing, we'll definitely want to slim down on some of the stuff I'm not sure about. Nile Spellbomb's so very flexible that I kind of like leaving this in. We can cut the Fatal Push. Don't know if Surgical would be good. I assume it's not going to be good. Like even the Orzhov Charms, I'm not quite sure what the opponent's up to over there. But I like making room for the extra Architects of Will is just because we're Mausoleum Secrets decks. You want to be able to get black creatures into the yard. Let's see. So we could play the Lilies. Especially want Liliana the Veil, just judging from what we saw. We could board up to 4 Planeswalkers against control. If we think he is some form of control, we definitely also want the Lingering Souls. I mean, I'm assuming he's a form of control. Him scooping there kind of suggests that. We could even run the Unmaking if we wanted. Hit things like Jace. This also hits Calidus if he's like the Esper control deck. Face Shield is interesting. There's probably manlands. You could even consider the Presence because it'll mess with his mana and also turn off like a Tar Pit or something. Hey, how's it going, Owen? I'm good. Yourself? How are you doing, friend? I don't know quite what I want against this guy. We saw very little. I don't think I want the Brutalities. I think I'm happy with just with Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes. Although if he is pure control, the Inquisition is going to be a little bit on the weak side. This also is a place where we don't really need Right. If he is just some form of blue-black X control, we won't need this. Because the board's not going to get clogged with threats, or we kind of like having a tutorable gotcha. It's the only reason to run that. Let's play the Unmaking. I might actually play the Brutalities. I mean, he was. It seemed as though he might be a form of control. It's the only reason I would run these, just to make sure that we can like strip a Cryptic or something. Yeah, I really don't know what he's up to, so we'll board in that way. Oh yeah, pre-release? It sounds like fun. What movie did you see, Ellen? You're saying bad movie makes me think that it can't have been the Avengers. I've heard too many good things. That was an easy mulligan. This is much better. Has all our colors. Quite a bit of disruption. We'll keep. I probably put back the Stubborn, and the reason being is we don't have a threat to go with it. Even though it's theoretically one of the better cards in the matchup, I think we're not ready for it. We want to draw the threat first, then we're interested in drawing the other. Probably takes a Thoughtseize here. Yes, he does. Knowing my opponent's on hand hate as well, I don't really want to fire off the Street Wraith in a hurry. Oh yeah, some form of control. So he's playing the Esper control list. We can play around Settle. probably want to take the Fatal Push, although Path hits Path hits all of my threats, whereas Push only hits certain ones. We do kind of care about the Spell Bomb, just because of how our deck works. But I probably still just take a piece of removal. '80s cheese. The apple. That's awful. I'll probably see it eventually. I don't know if I'm going to see it in theaters. Oh, excellent card for the matchup. Okay, we'll cycle this to see if we get a different play to make. Okay, well, I did just bring this in just to use it as a glorified duress, so we will do that. Now, Settle does line up well against my Lingering Souls, even though he's not ready to do it. So since we've drawn Souls, we're actually going to take the Settle. Also, if I draw something like Inquisition of Kozilek, I can't take Settle. Now, it's unfortunate we didn't take the Spell Bomb since we drew the... Oh, okay, he's just going to use it now. That's excellent for us. That is excellente. It's not going to hit my Lingering Souls. I'm a huge fan of this so bad it's good. There you go, like bad, are you going to take Lingering Souls? Surely you don't take Lingering Souls, right? I guess he does. Maybe he has another, or like a Surgical, perhaps? Or like a Counterspell? No? I'll shock here just to end step cycle an Architect. This is both of our Architects of Will. It is indeed both of them. But we're doing okay. We'll reload. We did take game one, so that is a good thing. There's a Shadow. Don't want to overcommit to the board against blue-white. All I know about his hand is that he's got a Fatal Push, right? Oh, do we have a Cryptic here? That'd be unfortunate, but not unbelievable for him to have a Cryptic here. So he decided not to go up on cards. He decided to bounce a Spirit Token instead, which is maybe a good thing for us. Opponent is literally on his last card. It should just be the Fatal Push that we've seen with the Thoughtseizes. Yes, it is. So I don't really want to just put the Shadow into play. I think that's kind of weak sauce. Another Kaya. I don't really see a reason to just put the Shadow into play when we could draw an Inquisition, etc. So obviously opponent is a Snapcaster Mage deck, so Kaya is a good idea. Teferi looks like. Okay. Oh, no art though. Well, it makes me sad we didn't have the Anguish done. Oh, interesting. He decides he wants to do that with the Teferi. We could just Anguish that. If we draw land, we could also consider... Alright, well, let's just get rid of this. I don't even want him drawing one extra card. Again, we know the hand is Fatal Push. So he may have drawn counter magic again. That would be unfortunate, but barring that, I think we still just jam Kaya again. We want the cryptic, and we want the path. Number of exile cards is 3. Opponent is at 9. Take the settle in a Thoughtseize. I'm not really obligated, guys, to... We'll go ahead and Thought Scour now. I'm not obligated to just... attempting to use the Spell Bomb in tandem with Kaya. It might even be correct for me to use... oh, wow. It might have even been correct for me to use the other mode on Brutality there to drain them, just to make it closer to killing him with Kaya. I would absolutely try to field me. I actually built this deck with quite a few basics, more basics than you'll see in a normal Shadow list, which may tick this guy off, but, you know, I don't care. It's my build of the deck. I can build it the way that I want to. Basic planes? What kind of Shadow player plays basic I know, I do. It's relatively free to play. Alright. Tazagur. So, unfortunately, we left the cast down in his hand, so Tazagur actually doesn't quite work here. Let's get that and that. So what does that mean? I can't snap Thought Scour. I don't have a Thoughtseize to hit. If we play both Shadow and Tazagur, opponent gets to kill both of them? That seems bad. Probably just supposed to play the Spell Bomb and say go. Actually, he's dead next turn, right? Actually, would he have been dead here if I just used the Spell Bomb? The answer is yes, right? Because he's got... his exile is at 7. So actually... We had won if I just used the Spell Bomb to exile his whole graveyard. There's another reason. If we're going to be on Kaya's, I really like the idea of Spell Bombs. Okay, so that went pretty quick. That was easy. We showed that Esper player what real Esper looks like, right? Now I'm excited that there are people trying like a pure Esper, an actual Esper control. Kaya is one of the big reasons that they're doing that. You know, Spell Bomb, Kaya, those are some of the bigger things you get. Oops. Now let's see if we can keep going. I think this hand is fine, even though it's on a swamp just because of the bauble and the Street Wraith. Alright, so he's an Opal deck. Few different Opal decks in the format at the moment. It's most likely that he's playing oh, he might be playing Prison. Opal. This is where I'm just really in love with the white splash. We actually do have a main deck way to beat. So he's playing the Prison deck. But this is where our Stony Silences can really shine. And thanks to the new Mulligan rule, we really can maybe beat this. But I have ways to deal with the bridge game 1. Even if they're small. Cycle this, hope to hit land. We did not. He's not gonna crack that bauble because he wants his mocks to work still. So this is the Were Prison list. See no reason not to hold up some of our counter magic. And if he does nothing, we have these Thought Scours to go through. Yeah, no worries, Ike. It's the weekend. How's it going? How are you doing, my friend? Welcome. We got a couple of counter spells. Whole lot of. We got 3 pair, or well, 3 of a kind here. 3, yeah, 3 of a kind. 3 of a kind on this shadow. Like if we can get them onto the table, and then remove the bridge. I mean, opponent's acting as if he does have a Were. But I also think us not taking game actions is also folly. So there's a Gurmagur, Gurmangler. Gonna leave Architect. Risky the Thought Scour because we might mill over the very thing that could actually remove the bridge, which I don't really want to do. It's maybe him getting Spellskite. Not that we can't play through Spellskite, but there might also be other things that he can get with that, and we don't really want that to happen. He might be playing New Karn. I've seen New Karn show up in this deck, which is kind of neat. Another Were. So this one's going to be for the 4-drop Bottle Cloister, which is very much a problem. Surgical away the Wers is neat. Bridge is the problem, obviously. Trying to think what we can do about it. Well, that's a way to still win, potentially. We have to deal some damage first, so that's kind of the issue with Right, is the most I can deal with it is 12. We have to somehow... Sucks to lose a Snapcaster. He's only got 2 Wers left in the deck, though. He could Were in response to this if he has the 3rd one. Chalice, Explosive, Spell Bomb. Alright. I'm familiar with the list, more or less. This might even be that one streamer I've seen a couple times. I don't recognize the name, though. Alright. Okay. It's unfortunate we didn't get more threats onto the table before that happened. But alas, not much I can do there. We can still get shadows onto the table with the help of Orzhov Charm. That's about it. There's one more in the deck. There's Snapcasters. But him drawing the extra cards is really problematic. I don't know if we'll be able to answer the Bottle Cloister before he... well, that unfortunately stops me from being able to tutor. Kaya's another way to win as well. I forgot about the main deck Kaya. So, there you go. We actually did have a couple ways to get there. So between the Rite of Consumption and the Kaya Ultimate, we might be able to get very, very lucky and string together a win. But it's going to be tight. Oh, okay, where he just has Spyglass. Their deck sometimes times out, so there's no reason for us to quickly concede, but we can leave up the sideboard just to think about how we're going to board while we play this very, very, very long, tedious game. But that's not a knock at the deck. It's not personally something I would probably play. That's not me saying the deck isn't good. We get to bring in more Planeswalkers post-board. We get to bring in 2 Stony Silence. So as long as we stay, ahead on the... Ooh, there's secrets. Cool. So 1, 2... We need to get more black creatures into the graveyard to be able to remove the bridge. Or we could go after the Spyglass, but I'd probably still rather just go after bridge. So we do need to get some of these shadows countered, as weird as that looks. Black creature. Just to turn on the Mausoleum Secrets, I need that many creatures in my graveyard. Yeah, I'm not even sure what we're gonna remove. When we looked at his deck, yeah, okay, we're gonna have to go with the Kaya. We're gonna have to remove the Sorceress Spyglass. Kaya's gonna have to be the one to do it. It's drawing a Spire of Industry. Oh, do we mill over it? Oh, it's not on the main board anymore for me. That sucks. It used to be. Yeah. Matchups like this are literally why I left it in the main board. So, but our clocks are comparable. That's unfortunate, chat. I also could have played that out, but I don't want you to sit through that. I thought, like, that's the kind of matchup where if I still have outs, I'll play through it with you guys, but otherwise, I know it's kind of counterintuitive to bring these both in at the same time, but these do nothing. These are great. This does nothing. Surgical actually does have some implications. Brutality hits were. It's really not mana efficient, though, of a way to do that. Last Hope Lily is really not all that great. I mean, she'll rebuy threats for us. That's about all that she's going to do. So it's not great. I mean, the graveyard does have implications, but I'm probably better off running one Brutality and just trying to grab War that way. Obviously, Inquisition and Thoughtseize are a much more mana efficient way to do that. I'm sorry, guys. My last build did have the Anguished I'm making in the main deck. I thought we had an out there. We did not. I can't really keep this. We should be looking for Stony Silence anyway. This I could maybe keep. Well, no, not really. It's a one-lander. And then doesn't do anything else. Man, that's bold of me to just put both of those lands on the bottom. Since we have the Thought Scour, we're going to do this now. Inquisition of Kozilek. I would be interested in drawing that. It's early enough in the game where that's actually pretty sweet. So we'll draw that, and then we'll Thought Scour. Oops. So, honestly, we probably have to take the Chalice and hope to counter the bridge. Unfortunately, a good name here is Kaya because we have two of them. But what are you gonna do? All right, so we could just take the bridge. That's annoying. Explosives. So we could set the explosives to take out the Kai. That makes no sense. Let's sit on the counter scroll. Academy Ruins takes time to set up. Not that I want to get us 2-for-1 from an explosives from the opponent. But we also just need to have clock. Little itty bitty shadows. Hopefully they grow. He probably slams Cloister here. That's what I would do. Stony Silence a little late to the party because now he can ruins the bridge back. He also has Whir. So this will be Whir for bridge. But, I mean, the damage might already be done, the Cloister. And maybe the Cloister was right. Well, no. Oh, no, yeah, we could have thought seized the Cloister. So, it's hard to say. And this might just be a tough matchup, even with the help of stuff in the sideboard like Stony, you know. I think even though we had a relatively decent draw, it just wasn't enough. And that's okay. We're 1-1. If this shakes out the way it looks like it's going to. And it's kind of, I mean, just similar to Lantern, it's kind of a miserable match to play. I'm fine conceding this and going to play some more active matchups. That's not me saying the deck is bad. It's certainly good. That's me saying that just from a streaming perspective, from the perspective of unless you guys are watching that match from the perspective of the control player or prison, it's actually prison. But if you're watching that match from the perspective of the prison player, I'm sure it's more interesting and enjoyable to watch than us sitting there with very small percentages to actually get there. This is a lot of land. Probably mulligan this. Also, I only have so much time to play Magic in a night, and I'd rather get more games in than sit there praying for, a 0%er. It was probably not that low. It was probably like less than 10%, right? We'll keep this. I have no idea if this is a matchup where we actually want the tutorable surgical. So other cool things about the new mulligan rule. We'll look like Esper control once we go Shockland Spellbomb. But the cool thing about it is I can put some of those bullets back into the deck as we mulligan, which is huge. I think it makes a lot of decks that have situational cards or like tutor-based cards a lot better. So we're going to play against Burn now. We're very sad. I technically have one more card for this matchup than the previous version. I mean, we can. There are draws that we have that do beat Burn. They're just game one. There's not many of them. It's possible though. It's unfortunate we're drawing kind of the top end here. This is probably Eidolon. Right, Consumption's interesting. I think unfortunately we just need our colors. Probably, yeah, no reason to cycle the Wraith. So Snap doesn't have something to flash back. Oh goodness me! All right, but we can chump Caster Mage the Eidolon. Is that definitely problematic? I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic here, chat. The old lava spike lightning bolt. And then skewer the critics doing a lava spike impression. But yeah, we get to exchange here, but take some damage in the process. We'd have to hit Shadow right about here, this next draw. But even then, we're just, dead to a burn spell. They're pretty much... Now, burn is something that didn't really improve all that much with the new mulligan rule. But, I mean, it's consistent. Always has been. That's okay. Game one against Burn can be horrendous. I mean, this is where we get to bring in Shield, 2 Brutality, another Kaya will come in. That's about it for this matchup. That's really most of what we'll want from the sideboard. Like, Orzhov Charm gets a lot worse. That comes out. The Graveyard Hate comes out. So it's about 5 cards that come out. That'll do it. All right, so let's hopefully do better these post-board games. So Kayas are great because we're going to be killing their dudes. Surgical can go. Bombs can go. Charms can go. Some amount of street wraiths are going to go as well. You can't cut them all against burn. I know that sounds weird, but especially with my build that's very land light, it's not possible. You just can't cut all of them. Now, I mean, charm is maybe more playable than some of the cards I just cut, so we'll see. But let's bring in the brutalities. Obviously, these are the real prize. Face shield is essentially a counterspell when we get low, which will happen. Thought seize is bad, but I mean, I guess the charms are going to come back in, and we'll run the explosives and a couple of street wraiths. Just because everything else just doesn't seem like what I want to be doing. Okay, secrets and a bunch of thought seizes. No. Sideboard card, yes. But what do we put back? I could see just putting back the Architects of Will. Everything else in my hand is quite a bit more mana efficient. Thoughtseize for us. I will most likely fetch that away. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's like, you know, you look at my teammate Fluffy Wolf, or you look at I think we actually might have been playing the guy that does do the War Prison as a stream. Those guys, they hit a niche. I like to think that my viewer base is a little bit more variety as far as brews are concerned. Nice. Okay, so we actually drew Shadow this time. So whereas those communities, they love a good prison. Like those are two, for example, modern prison streams. That's what those guys do. They've both been playtesting with new Karn, which I found fascinating. I was checking that out. So hopefully we just get to kill this Swift Spear here. And there's a Kaya on the way. Counter Squall can be a little bit awkward against burn. Like in a lot of spots, the face shield is actually quite a bit more mana efficient. I might even just do 3 modes. Just because then I don't have to worry about actually pulling off the Counter Squall or the face shield. Best card in their hand is technically Helix, if you want to get technical. I mean, Bolt's really good because it's efficient. Like next turn, he gets to go land, Swift Sphere, and then one of these burn spells. There's not much I can really do about that. But it's always awkward when you actually have Shadow against them. Like, actually, our other threats are, in a lot of ways, better against burn in the early game, whereas Shadow's kind of how you're hoping to finish. So we know his hand is Bolt, another Spike, 1 unknown card. Another Shadow. So yeah, because we gained the life there, I'm not able to deploy a Shadow here, which is a little unfortunate. And since I went for the basic planes to try to conserve life points, I missed out on playing multiple Shadows in a turn. But we do actually need him to get us a little bit lower to play these guys out, so ideally not in Bolt range. So this will do that. This puts us to 9 or less. The Shadow will be big. Looks like he's got a 2 mana spell he wants to play here. He has drawn Lightning Helix. So we'll go to 8, then we'll go to 5. That's scary. And again, we're punished. Not being able to hold up the stubby. So I might just be dead here because Because, like, think about it this way, chat. Sure, we'd be at 3, but I would have been able to, you know, like, deploy multiple shadows and this and that. Now we're in this kind of weird, awkward spot where I have to make more land drops. I can't really play anything because we know his hand is a bolt. I think we've lost this one, and that's okay because burn is a difficult matchup. It's not like if you look at the. I was watching the tournament this weekend. If you look at the tournament standings, they there was very little, if any, burn played. So it's not that it doesn't exist, and I would say on Magic Online there's quite a bit of burn, despite it not being the deck of choice at the moment. But certainly, that being said, it's not easy. So we're dead here no matter how I block. Because sure, we have a stubborn for the bolt, but we still take the damage off of the Eidolon. You know, I can block any which way we want to block, but I'm still dead, and that's okay. Because that's, I mean, again, I wouldn't say that the War Prison matchup is a non-match, but the burn can feel like a bit of a uphill battle. Like, at least if you're playing Mardu or Grixis Shadow or some of the other bursty shadows that people have been playing, you have the chance to. And again, if we wanted to make our burn matchup better, you just add more collective brutalities. And, you know, we even saw one and it wasn't enough. And again, I think in retrospect, I used too many of the escalate modes. I think that game could have been a little bit different if I'd. Maybe I was supposed to dump the counter squall, but I don't think I was supposed to dump the face shield. So if I could have done that turn over again, I would have. I wouldn't have discarded the cards that I discarded. I probably only would have done 2 modes: kill and take a spell instead of kill, take, and drain. I think that was a little much. This hand's great, but we could win the rest of this league and still, you know, be not super happy because, you know, since it's a comp league, you have to win 4 matches or better, but to really walk away with much of anything. But anyway, no idea what the opponent's on. But with double shadow in hand, it's tempting to just Watery Inquisition. Okay, so this is fascinating. Oops, I actually meant to take the Explorer. That's okay. If anything, Flame Slash is more of a pain. Just because we have to get ourselves that much lower before Shadow's not threatened. So I might actually just take the Explorer. To be perfectly honest. Well, that's tough. Let's take a peek. We could just take Flame Slash and then we can play Shadows and start going to town. Actually, I think that other mountain was in his hand. That'll be him playing a Valakut. We still have quite a bit of time here. I actually think the Orzhov charm might kill him. Let's do a little math here. So this is a swing of 12. If I grew the shadows each by 5, that's a lethal attack. Interestingly enough. That's always fascinating, right? Always fascinating. The way that math worked out was awesome for us. Hidden mode on Orzhov Charm. Make us take 5 damage. Okay, so Valakut. Probably want the brutalities. Even though they're slow, they interact. Presence as a good tutor target. Surgical can stay. Bombs can go. Fatal Push can go. Kaya can go. The only Planeswalker I kind of don't mind in this matchup, they need a density of cards. I don't hate the idea of Lily of the Veil. I don't know if they're going to bring in Graveyard Hate. I don't know. Kitchen Finks is going to be a thing, maybe. Cry the Carnarium is a good answer for Finks, if we think that's what's happening. I mean, Kitchen Finks is a pain, but Face Shield does not protect you from Valakut because it is a land. Unfortunately. I wish it worked that way. I think we cut everything. I think I'm fine leaving in the Orzhov Charm just because it's so flexible. Well, maybe we do slim on that. Summoner's Pact might be nice just in case they do bring in Graveyard Hate, which I don't think they will, but if they did, at least we could still have something to secrets for. Something to think about. And then if we do think it's Kitchen Finks, a nice clean way to answer them is Cry. Other than Path. I like the tutorable Cry, the Carnarium. I think that's sweet. Granted, we have to have 3 black creatures in the graveyard, but it's not impossible for us. Playset a Street Wraith. Plethora of other black creatures that can quite a bit of the time go in the graveyard. This hand is a lot of lands. Probably gonna take my 6. We're on the draw. We've got Bauble. Could probably keep this. Between being on the draw and having Bauble to try to let me know whether or not to fetch. Okay, well, would you land anyway? There you go, chat. Okay, since we know we have an active play, I don't really... We can put the Bauble into play, I just don't want to use it just yet. I like to use it in tandem with a fetch land. Black mana, please. So obviously we don't want to take the Obstinate. That would be a mistake. A hilarious mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. So we'll wait on this Brutality. There's a shadow. We'll make it look like we're making a decision, and really I'm just shocking and trying to put the shadow in. I know, chat. I know. With Lily in and Cry, I want the Godless. I know, little itty bitty shadow. Little itty bitty shadow. Drew land anyway. It's okay, I don't mind third lands. It's when we start getting into 4th and 5th land where we're kind of sad. Search for Tomorrow. We know his hand is Baloth, 1 unknown. Okay, now we could get the Hallowed Fountain if we wanted to. So because of that, I don't really want to fire off his Inquisition. This might become food for the brutality to drain and take something. I don't want to drain, obviously, leading up to if it would make, you know, if it would kill him, obviously that's a good play. I think our sideboard was okay. Wasn't the best, but I think we did all right. Summoner's Pact. There's a lot of draws that let us swing through this Bailoff. It was not one of them. So he's got 2 cards in hand. I really do think we're going to need this Inquisition for food. We know his hand doesn't actually work out for us. Or rather, we know that the Inquisition probably whiffs. So again, there I could have Brutality to check the hand. Ah, okay, so maybe we would have hit Steve. I mean, I like the idea of checking their hand for Scape Shift. I wouldn't drain here. One, two, three, 4. Yeah. We do kind of need to do this awkward dance. See, that makes me think he's already got it, like a Scape Shift potentially. Could also just be Titan. But let's shock. Deal a little bit of extra. And then we can Brutality to drain? I don't know, they're both 7s. I think I just take it. Hopefully it's Scape Shift. And again, like, you know, we can sit there and say, oh, like, Brutality's got to be so bad in this matchup. But, I mean, it may have just saved our butts. Yeah, he did draw land. This is 14. If we can go a little bit lower, we kill him. Now he's dead. And I don't feel bad about that at all. I mean, again, like, we faced some of the, I wouldn't call them rare matchups. I mean, if anything, I should have a little more respect for Burn and maybe be playing, you know, I don't know if I could justify third Brutality. Like, we technically have a little bit more sideboard for that matchup than I've had in the past. Face Shield, Brutality to Brutality, but we still kind of got rolled over. And the Kaya comes in too, because if I can manage to take out a few creatures, she'll come in and start gaining us life. Anyway. Yes, we did it, sort of. So are you guys curious what the little extra added bonus is tonight? You guys haven't asked that question. That was something I posted on the Twitter and the Facebook page. It's not looked upon so friendly in paper communities. I mean, people, you know, Magic is an expression of what you find good or fun or interesting. So I hope you don't think that just because I scooped there, it's because I have like a salty disposition. It's simply because I just don't think it's going to be interesting for you guys. And I only have limited amounts of time to play. Actually, we'll keep this Magic these days. So I kind of want to, well, play more games. You know, I'd rather be jamming more games against more archetypes. I think it'll just not only be more interesting and fun for myself, but probably interesting and fun for you guys. And gosh, another match where we get to bring in these stonies. Really enjoy the white splash as of late. I think I do want to go watery just because our hand is so very 1, 2, 3 mana. Okay, so Inquisition's still fine to lead on. So he does get to drop Master of Ethereum. I probably even still take the Overseer. As crazy as that sounds, this is the one that gets out of control. Like the effects that this guy has on the board over a long period of time is much, much more impactful than what Master will do. Master is a more scary, immediate threat, but, you know, it's as simple as drawing a removal spell. And there's Shadow. See, there you go. So we can let him do a little bit of work for us, and then we will, in the end, be a bit bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not quite enough for Zetazagur. Unless I want to do something like Thoughtseize myself. Which I might do. Down to 12. We play the Shadow, or do we play the Tazagur? Well, Tazagur's not blocking Master anyway. Let's go with Shadow. And he does have double Welding Jar, so it's very possible that... okay, that was his draw. It's very possible that... on the infect plan. Shadow. Tempting to leave up the stubby, but actually, let's do this delve properly. Like, we wouldn't want Inquisition, Thoughtseize. Shadow blocks the Master. So we are very much in trouble in the air. We may just be dead, and that's okay. That's how Game 1 against Affinity can go quite a bit of the time, to be perfectly honest with you. They just go wide in some ways that a lot of the ways we beat their wide strategy we can't really do till post-board, admittedly. Alright. Oh, we're dead in the air. Okay. Hey, what's up, Ebola? No, I did not. You are correct, sir. All right, so I actually like both lilies here. Cry. Like, a lot of our tools for this matchup are in the sideboard, as you can see. They have manlands, so this is something to think about. Maybe not. I'm not a huge fan of counter magic in this matchup. They're just so fast that it's on the weaker side. They do have good blocks, so it's nice to have reach. I'm going to cut a lot of my counter magic, I think. Don't want these. I think the hand hate's fine. I think the removal's fine. So we have a lot of cards that we want to bring in. This is 8. We want 9. I don't know what the last one would be. Manland, there's Planeswalkers, Anguished Hits, Plating. I mean, it's just a matter. I think the life loss on this is a little bit too big of a deal. Pact if you think he's going to bring in Graveyard Hate, and we still want to be able to tutor something with the secrets. But Affinity's also kind of that style of matchup where it's similar to Burn, where you don't really want all these Street Wraiths. I know it's weird to have Stony and bring in the explosives, but it's so good in the matchup we don't even care. Like, if we stick this, we don't care that it turned off 4 cards. It's kind of my consensus on that. These are over here. So we have room for like one more card. These are the things I'd be thinking about. Hitting the man lands. Maybe 8-man lands. This is probably just Evil Presence. Like that's what we were having trouble against last time, was that he had the Nexus we weren't able to answer. No sideboard cards. It's only a 1-lander. There's Stony. Other than this hand is really bad. We'll put the island back. I think if anything, maybe I'll just put out the flats and try to thin a little bit. Kind of like going Hallowed Fountain into Swamp, or we just draw the Swamp. Awkward. There's a lot of lands, I know, chat. Don't want to path the Signal Pest if I can help it. Thoughtseize. What do you got? I mean, Ravager we can handle with Path. I mean, we really don't even care about... Oh, we don't care about the plating because we resolved the Stony Silence, so you just take Ravager. Could even take the Dispatch. I don't know what I want to do with these fetches just yet. It's not like we need to keep them around because our Bauble top decks are turned off. Well, he's drawing lands. Okay, well that might be his only basic, so I don't mind maybe just pathing the man land here. Okay, he does have multiple basics, unfortunately. So his hand's basically just dispatch plating. And again, I don't know if I should be shocking or not because we haven't drawn a shadow, you know? But I also like thinning since we've drawn so very many lands. Another man land. I think I will shock. Some of our best draws are shadows. Wraith. And we left in all the Wraiths, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Gonna need a threat. Gonna need one of those so-called threats. Stab it. I think it's hilarious that we're killing all these his creatures, but we're still damaging ourselves because we're hoping to draw shadow. I don't know. Again, I don't have to make that decision yet, technically. But theoretically, the percentages are better if I do that. I mean, look at us just drawing lands anyway. That fetches. Alright, so there's a planes left. So hopefully. Oh god. Hopefully. Hopefully, chat. Hopefully, chat. Hopefully. What? Mismatch. Hopefully, chat. hopefully, I'm hoping. See, it paid off. Okay, it paid off that we'd done that. We're going to lose it to a dispatch, potentially, but... I think we just do this. If anything, I'm going to check his top instead of mine. So he's got a Gal Blast that's scary. He's got a Master that he can't cast. And a Welding Jar that's irrelevant. So, okay. Probably run it back. I mean, the Gal Blast makes me think I'm not supposed to have all these Wraiths in. Maybe we'll do what we do against Burn, which is maybe just keep in 2. I mean, again, I don't like cutting them entirely just because I'm playing a very greedy version of the deck. So I think we still always want at least 2 of these. But maybe I should be playing a couple of Stubborns. You know. Or we could even play Brutality. I mean, against Affinity, it's not the worst thing. It answers a couple of their threats decently. Lets me pitch cards that are kind of awkward. Lets me pitch late game, you know, hand hate into something more useful. I mean, seeing the Gal Blast makes me think I kind of maybe want something like this. Or even the Stubbies. I mean, Stubborn is more flexible than this because this can hit Plating and Gal Blast, whereas this is only going to, you know, do one of the two. We'll play a couple Stubs. And again, it's tempting to, although there's Lily, again, it's tempting. So he's going to keep his 7 really quickly. I mean, Thoughtseize, like, I mean, this could get to the Liliana. She is very good in the matchup. But I also think that we should probably look potentially for... That's me just maybe looking for the Stony Silence. But I don't want to go much lower than that just to try to dig for a 2 of. I think that's foolish. So here we'll do the Bauble trick. It's not like I have a Thought Scour, so there's no reason to do it here. If we had like a Thought Scour or something to cycle, I would Bauble check ourselves. Although since we have Fatal Push, maybe I was supposed to. All right, sorry Taziger. We're just gonna take care of the Ravager here. Now he will animate a creature land. See what he goes with. If he's probably gonna go with Blink Moth. Oh, he goes with Ink Moth. Okay. Wait, what? I think he messed that up. I don't think that's what the opponent meant to do. Hey, I'll take all that we can get, okay? If he makes a mistake, he says that's tilting. Yeah, I didn't think that's what you meant to do. I did not think that was my opponent's intention. Okay. So, all that effort, we end up with, well, what we signed up with, right? It cost us, 12 tickets is the equivalent of 12 tickets. But we ended up with a chesty. I open these chests when we have a sub or a resub on the channel. Yeah. All right. So that's the deck. It is already almost 11, so we're gonna squeeze in a little bit of the reward for you guys. Yeah, that was a really terrible punt. It was definitely like a misclick for sure. I have a little bit of Pauper for you guys. Who's excited about that? It's not something we see all that often. It is a deck I've never played. And we're probably not going to finish the league tonight. I'm planning to go to... Let's aim for 11 to turn off tonight because I got to get up early tomorrow. So I'm going to set a timer. So we got 30 minutes. 30 minutes on the clock. Could probably squeeze in a game or two of Pauper. Now, the problem with Pauper is there's only a few people playing, right? If we play friendly, it's twice as likely that we're going to get... Or I guess it would improve the speed twice as much. And I'm not really invested in this deck. I don't really care to play. I haven't played competitive Pauper in a long while. So we'll be plebs for a moment. And I know, spend those precious play points we just won to play this jank. Aw, yeah. Oops. Let's leave it CMC sorting. White-black control. Yes, that it's an actual divest. So we'll see if we can get an opponent. If we can't, we'll call it quits, and I'll just turn in early. But, so it's a Pestilence deck. You can see it kind of wombo comboing here with, oh, we did get an opponent, with Pristine Talisman. Other than that, it's just a bunch of removal spells, Hand Hate, and these guys are really resilient. Protection from monocolored, so this thing doesn't take any damage from the Pestilence. But more important than that, it's actually theoretically it's basically the true name nemesis of Pauper. We've talked about that before. I've brewed around that card before as well. But it's more or less a true name. Since we're on the draw, I guess I will keep this. It's basically the closest to kind of like a true name nemesis effect in this format, because everything's basically monocolored. There's very little multicolored in this format. If you guys have never played Pauper, I don't have to lead out on this duress. We could get like one of our other lands. In Pauper, you're going to have quite a bit of tapped mana happening, or like a lot of the mana is slow, but it's still a high-powered format with things like Brainstorm, Ponder. So it is an interesting format. So he's playing the blue-black Delver. That's to be expected. It's probably the most popular. Now, against a deck like this, we probably want to hold the duress to resolve one of our important win conditions. I probably don't just slam this. It's probably Augur of Bolus. They play a play set. I know my opponent's 75 probably, or at least I've played against it very similar. Takes a Preordain. So against them, we probably just want to resolve things like Night's Whisper when we have a window. We could also just play the Basilica here. Just to be mana efficient, I guess I will duress into play the Orzhov Basilica. Yeah, I could see that. Snuff, snuff, foil. Ooh, he's on the foil build. So, don't care, don't care. I mean, I'd probably just take the cantrip. I can see why this is a popular choice. There's been a few people playing this archetype. This black-white control. Like, we don't care about our opponent's hand almost entirely. I mean, I could even just put the dead weight on the bolus and then it doesn't work anymore. Or it doesn't deal damage anymore, I should say. Just get this in there while he doesn't have a counterspell. And I know I'm just discarding. I'll probably just drop the Chainer's Edict. The flashback does actually come up in Pauper, you'd be surprised. But I think we do want all these land drops. Maybe not. Maybe I could have pitched a land there. That's fair. Right, we've already got... I guess I forgot about the fact that Basilica's 2. 1, 2, 3. So we can just dead weight the Delver. I mean, Delver might also just die to this Pestilence. I might just be slamming this Pestilence, actually. Am I just trying to stick this? Could also stick Palace Sentinels here. Well, no, Sentinels will die. I mean, it would give me Monarch. I probably just want to stick Pestilence while the coast is clear. Or theoretically clear. Maybe he does have a counterspell. He's going to gush in response. Brainstorm. And again, this is why I kind of wanted to save the duress for when we would cast this, just for what's going on here. So we could fight over. Oh no, I definitely wish I'd dumped a land. Like, it'd be nice to have that now. So he is going to use the foil. Fascinating. Okay. So he pitches Snuff Out Island. Mm-hmm. Opponent's going off over there. They're a Gourmet Angler deck, so that might be in our near future. Snuff Out, but we don't really care about the Snuff Out. This guy loves Snuff Out. He's got a playset? That's a lot of this card. Because aren't there quite a few... There's quite a few black threats that are played in the format. So... Alright, so now Pestilence is not what we want to do. We probably want to just play Guardian. Guardian blocks Augur. Ooh, days. I wouldn't have been able to pay for it anyway. All my lands were tap lands. Pick up my basic here. That's unfortunate. The Guardian. I think I still lead on the Guardian. We could play around another days. Let's take out the flyer. This is double days. Huh. Maybe he just thought I had another spell I want to play. I don't know. Stormbound Geist is pretty annoying. But this is a window for us to Pestilence, and there's not much that they can do. Do I start attacking with the Guardian? I don't think so, because the Guardian blocks Augur still. But Pestilence we'll use to kill off Stormbound Geist. If we're going to take the 2 damage anyway, I'd want it to kill the Geist. So we've got how much damage off this Pestilence? Black. So how much white mana do we have? That's really the question. So we can Palace Sentinels, Pestilence away the Stormbound. Like, black, 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 then play Sentinels. To become the Monarch. The opponent did a lot of fancy cantripping and stuff, but that's fine. We just wanted the Monarch. Like, we knew it was dying, but now we just kill them with the Pestilence and the Guardian, right? Opponent's finally drawn Gurmag Angler. Nope. If he plays Gurmag, we probably just flashback Chainer's Edict. Radiant Fountain. Yeah, there you go. I mean, we could use the Night's Whisper. We've got quite a bit of life points to work with. We're looking for Talisman. That's what I'm actually looking for. Diabolic Edict is good in the matchup, though. Or decent, I should say. The way that they kill you is through creatures. Like, I don't want too many things like Night's Whisper. We'll kick it back. Augur Bolus we could just dead weight. It doesn't really do anything. We may not have time for another game. Oh, he's gonna Gush. Gush is so insane. I mean, if you're talking about like some of the most busted cards in this format, were you talking about Gush? Could also just Edict. Could also just Edict the Augur and then deadweight the Delver. This works too. I can see why this deck got brewed, because it just seems... Actually, I'll just use the Pestilence to take care of the Delver. Let's not waste the deadweight. Castigate. What you got over there, good sir? I guess the world will never know. Okay, so we can use the Basilica to bounce a Kabir Crossroads. It's not that broken. No. It's not. Just trying to think if they have any like direct damage. I don't think that they do. But I may have just played into it, if it exists. Well, now we know we've got the win for sures. We never even saw a talisman. Like, the talisman is pretty important, but I guess the deck builder built the mana base in such a way that we really can gain back enough life that the Pestilence works. But look how important the Guardian of the Guild Pack was to keeping the Pestilence in place. Oh man, we really don't care about that. So Guardian puts into 1, Pestilence finishes him off. Seriously, I'm telling you, Pauper True Name Nemesis. Okay, so it looks like we can't cut any of this. This seems really important to our deck. Circle Pro Blue doesn't stop them from killing us with Gurmag, but this would give us multiple answers to damage from... Like, this seems like a much better answer to their... the flyer that's such a pain. Like, Unmake also hits that flyer. I'm worried about... I think post-board they have a playset of the Undying guy. That Undying creature is all over the place in Pauper. It's really that good. So we probably want the Unmake. I could see us even playing like at least one circle. What are some of the things that are awkward when he's on the play? I mean, we're probably not going to get a 2-for-1 with the Echoing Decay. Their deck is designed to not really, like, what is this going to hit? Delver? Speaking of which, Disfigure is a much more mana-efficient way to handle Delver. They're trying to go big. They're not really on the small stuff. I don't even know if I really want the Disfigures. I mean, we may still play them, but... I mean, at least Deadweight hits Augur. Actually, Deadweight is still better in this matchup because this hits Augur and Delver, whereas... this figure only hits Delver. That's too specific. It's too narrow, is what I mean to say. We probably just want to be able to break through their counter magic. Edict hits Angler. I want to make sure I have all the stuff that can take down Gurmag Angler. Which, again, is another reason why Deadweight's a little awkward. Maybe we just want the extra hand hate. I mean, don't get me wrong, Chad. I'm all for making, like, trying to make sure that we don't get beat down by a Delver, but I don't really know if that's what this matchup is about. I also think Talisman's not all that strong in this matchup. I know we kind of wanted to see 1 just because it counteracts the Pestilence, but our mana base is designed to do a lot of that for us. So maybe we cut a couple of these and play the, I guess it would be Deadweight. Even though it's much worse with like the Edict effects. I think it would be something like that. I just don't want to get beat down by some of their earlier threats. Early game threats. So this is going to get thrown back. Oh yeah, Pauper's going to be weird with this mulligan roll, isn't it? A little bit. So we can keep this. And we'll probably throw back the Read the Bones. This deck definitely wants to make sure that it gets a lot of these tapped lands down and down early. And what's nice is I think this deck is niche enough that a lot of other players on here probably haven't seen it. I did not brew this from scratch. This is, what was the player's name? I saved their moto name just because I think it's important to, oh, here we go. Oh, Pauper. Oh, I broke my moto though. It was maybe not worth it. It's been crashing on me when I've opened deck lists lately. I don't know quite why it's doing that. Yeah, I crashed it. Mistake. I was just trying to show you guys the list. It won't even let me go into my other games. Ruined. I knew there was a reason I wasn't pulling up the list. Like my modern lists are coming up for you guys, but that Pauper list, it crashed when I was getting ready for the show. I should have known better than to trust Magic Online. But anyway, not much we can do about it now. Let's just get back in there. Now that I played with the London Mulligan rule a lot, what are my thoughts? You rather like it? Yeah, I think it's really good. I think a lot of the Magic casters made jokes that the Mulligan rule should have been improved a long time ago. So, I don't know. I think it's very good. I think the only format that's a bit of a casualty is Vintage. Other than that, I don't see it really hurting any format. So it's only really kind of, I wouldn't even, destructive is a little aggressive. I would just say that Vintage is probably the format most affected by that change. And it's honestly, it's not really something that they worry about. It's just as far as Wizards is concerned, they're not concerned with, the older formats, so can't see them worrying about it. One of these duress is a sideboard duress. We have drawn a sideboard card so far. Yep, could be Augur. It is Augur. I would stick the Pristine Talisman if we draw an untapped land, absolutely. Which will make me really sad that I just went for the Night's Whisper there. I mean, I want this card to resolve in the matchup overall. We could also just Chainer's Edict here. He'll sacrifice the Augur, but I think that's better than just duressing. And who knows, maybe we get to kill the Delver with the Pestilence. We'll see. Easier to kill Delver's Secrets with Pestilence than it is Augur Bolus. And we have a game to give. We took game one, so we're actually still ahead on time, surprisingly, despite my Magic Online crashing. Opponents at 15 minutes, we're at 16. Well, 15 minutes, 30 seconds, we're at 16 minutes, 30 seconds. So we are still good. All right, so he brainstorms to flip his Delver, preordain the reveal. Gush is what he got off the Augur Bolus. He might counter the Pristine. Card's pretty good. Do we want to return Swamp or do we return Crossroads? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, +1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 mana's plenty. It even has Pestilence and we can pay for 1 days. I think I'm going to go Basilica, return Crossroads. Is that greedy? Yes, that's greedy of me. I've ever seen. I saw your picture, Jade, in the Discord. Yeah, it is hilarious. You should link the Discord so people can look at that picture, or you could even link that picture in the chat if you want. But yeah, I saw that. New Karn is really cool. There's a lot of cool things you can do with him. Just gaining a life there. Okay, so I can duress into the pestilence. Here's the thing, though. I don't think I want to do anything other than read the bones here. I just smell a daze. I think I'm supposed to do this. Top and bottom. Oh, man. Okay. This is a lot of white mana for us to have. Like, we have colorless mana, we have white mana, only 2 black sources in the deck. It does have a lot of black to it. Yeah, Fluffy Wolf, he's done a lot with it. I've also seen the Whir Prison deck play it, Jade. So, yeah, I could see, like, Tesserator wanting it, if that's an archetype you wanted to dig up and, mess around with. The Blood Moon prison style. I mean, pretty much any prison deck loves Karn because they just want to be able to get bridge. So there's Deadweight. Let's still lead on Duress, I think. Spell Pierce. Okay. I'll bite. We could try to Night's Whisper into a land drop and then still maybe pull off the Deadweight. Like Pauper, unless you're playing like Pauper Burn, like you do have a lot of time, so he's going to foil that. So he's got something that he really wants to protect. I think I just Night's Whisper, try to hit land. He might counter this, but okay, cool. So we can Bajuka Bog so that he can't Gurmag. Which is probably correct since he just drew a bunch. Keeping him from being able to cast Gurmag Angler seems probably correct. If we play Basilica, I probably return to Crossroads. Another Guardian. Shoo. Alright. So let's lead on Duress. Start there. So there's the Annul. So if we take that, we can stick the Pestilence potentially. He could kill his own Delver to get rid of the Pestilence, by the way. That's not, an impossible play. Did I or did I not think about that? I did not. A lot of the time, your opponent won't do a play like that, but maybe I should have tried to resolve Guardian of the Guild Pact first. He may actually kill his own Delver. Okay, he decides not to. There's a non-Bizarro world where I'm sure he at least considered it. I actually, in his spot, would maybe consider that because that gets rid of Pestilence. Pestilence leaves play if there are no more creatures. So let's castigate. Spell Pierce. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have enough mana to pay. And still resolve Guardian potentially. I mean, it just depends on what the contents of his hand are. So he's got a Gurmag that he can't cast for a while that we really just don't care about. So this is our last game, first and last of the Pauper. Probably just take Gush, just because it represents a draw 2. We'll Guardian, play the Crossroads. This deck seems pretty solid, actually. Oh, I'm sure you enjoy his content, Jade. His decks are probably totally up your alley. I'm glad you're watching one of my teammates. Yeah, Douglas, or excuse me, I should say Fluffy's great. Oh, what am I doing? We knew about the Agony Warp. Yeah, I'm just playing this guy into it. I could have taken the, instead of the Gush, I could have taken the Agony. Yeah, this is like that rare, okay, now I know why they play this. It's not for the weird backwards helix effect. It's because it actually hits this card in the format. There's got to be more than one deck playing this. But anyway, we can still just play it again. It's fine. Not a big deal. And I'd actually like to... I'll kick it back. I'd like to just kill the Delver with the Pestilence, I think. And then we can Chainers the Gurmag Angler. That's funny. Yeah, no, this actually does kill it. There's very few multicolored cards in the format. Now I know why they play this. They play it because of Guardian. That's funny. It's also semi-useful against some of the aggressive decks in the format that are trying to, hit you with multiple threats. So we'll kill off the Delver. This will be Gurmag. So we get to go Pestilence activation, kill Delver, Chainer's Edict the Gurmag. We want to do all that before we swing. I want to make sure if this guy is on offense or defense. Wish we had more black mana sources. Return to Kabira. I think we got this match locked down. This guy seems really hard for them to answer. Now I understand why they run that. The Agony Warp. Guardian, although I think I tapped incorrectly. Just because I could have gotten in a little bit more Pestilence damage. Oh, trust me, this is no true name Nemesis, but it's like the closest you get. It's kind of like the closest that you can get in Pauper. You will say Agony was run in blue-black. Oh, fair enough then, Jade. I believe you. No, this card's cool. I've always thought this card was kind of sweet. Just never really had a home. I'm glad that it has a home somewhere. One, two, three, four, five. We actually do have enough black to take out the Gurmag. Or we could just flashback Chainer's Edict. It's kind of more fun, though, to just kill it with the Pestilence, isn't it? Like, I'm not going down a card or anything. There's also no guarantee. There's no guarantee that the that the Chainer's Edict would resolve. This just deals the damage so very much faster. I mean, he's dead next turn. See, I don't hate that we cut a couple of talismans post board that seem to work out pretty well. Yeah, this just might be a really favorable matchup for us, which is a good thing because the blue-black, Delver, Angler, blue-black Delve, whatever you want to call it, it's a... I can make us tie. That's fun. Or I could just kill them. Alright, well, so that's that black-white control for Pauper. It's just a really grindy Pestilence deck, but seems fine to me. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next Brews by the Magic Guy. I'm going to host to another streamer. Let me just do it this way. If you guys have any suggestions for someone I should host, let me know. I'm going to take a quick look at the Magic channel, see if I can't find us another streamer to host. Got some Caleb D hanging out. Boots streaming. He's playing MTGA, but he is a friend of the stream. Arkan is playing some Miracles. It's fun. What else we got here? Vintage. Some vintage. Speaking of vintage, some vintage happening. I don't think any of my teammates are on. I don't see Evan or Fluffy. Yeah, so I got some choices. I don't know, which of those sounded fun to you guys? Yeah, thank you, Jade. I really appreciate that. You have a good night, too. I think I'm going to host the Vintage guy. Vintage doesn't get enough love. All right. I'll see you guys on the next show. And tell them hi from me. Yeah, this is sweet. He is playing the new Karn. Jay, this is totally something you would want to see. Yeah, it looks like he's brewing with the new Karn. That's sweet. All right, I'll see you guys on the next Brews by the Magic Guy. Laters. Have a good night, guys. All right, bye.